Hello everyone, thank you for joining me for this month's episode of Pegasus. I am your host, Dr. Brittany Moore Henderson. Did you know that Mississippi State CVM offers a study abroad program which students can spend 3 to 4 weeks of their summer in Uganda? No matter if you are a current pre-veterinary student or a veterinary student, this study abroad program will broaden your horizons as to what a career in global veterinary medicine may have to offer. The Tropical Veterinary Medicine and One Health Study Abroad program focuses on One Health principles while infusing multicultural experiences. Today I am joined by Dr. Stephen Reichle, who is the Associate Director of MSU Global Center for Aquatic Food Security and Assistant Clinical Professor in our Department of Pathobiology and Population Medicine, to discuss how you can participate in this study abroad experience that is open to undergraduate, graduate, and veterinary students, not only at Mississippi State, but also other U.S. academic institutions. But before meeting Dr. Reichle, let's take a look at this short clip about this unique program.
The Tropical Veterinary Medicine and One Health Study Abroad program is delivered in collaboration with Makerere University in Kampala, Uganda.
This trip was very helpful to me to know as vet student and the faculty, because we have more time to share with us and know more about the culture and the future career about its veterinary.
This is a 4-week course that focuses on animal health and production, disease surveillance, wildlife health, public health, and other One Health principles while infusing multicultural experiences.
I'd recommend this trip to other students because it gives insight into how the veterinarian fits into the world. We're so much more than just dogs and cats. We're wildlife, we're people, we're ecology, we're public health. It really is the embodiment of One Health.
Students get to participate in experiential, hands-on learning experiences at national parks, farms, field experiment stations, and other points of interest.
So what was the most memorable part of the trip for me? I would have to say it was working at the zoo in Uganda for a couple of days. We got to do a health check on a chimpanzee, and it really was a good transition from sophomore surgery, working on a dog, to working on something a lot more exotic and something you might not see every day.
There are a limited number of participants allowed each year, and the program is open to undergraduate, graduate, and veterinary students at Mississippi State University and other U.S. academic institutions. Come join us on this educational and fun trip as we explore the Pearl of Africa.
All right, now I am joined by Dr. Stephen Reichle. Dr. Reichle, thank you. It's a pleasure having you to join me today for today's show.
Thank you for inviting me, Dr. Moore Henderson. I'm really pleased to be here.
Yes, so before we get into things about the program, so tell me a little bit about yourself. What got you here to our CVM?
Sure, yeah, I'm originally from Northeast Ohio, and after finishing veterinary school at Ohio State, I came down to Mississippi State and was on faculty here and also worked on a PhD in aquatic animal health. So what really attracted me was the strong aquatic animal health program that we had. After I finished my PhD, I left and worked in the private sector for a couple of years for the largest producer of rainbow trout in the United States, and then had the opportunity to return, and I couldn't turn that down because the program that was really strong before got even stronger while I was away, and so I'm really excited to be back here at Mississippi State.
Awesome. You know, we're happy to have you. It's a pleasure having you back here. So getting into the program. So first of all, how can individuals get involved in this type of program? So I know we have for undergraduate, graduate students, as well as our veterinary students, but how can they get involved with this program?
Sure, yeah. So the Tropical Veterinary Medicine and One Health Study Abroad program is open, like you mentioned, to undergraduate, graduate veterinary students here at Mississippi State, but other at U.S. academic institutions as well. And so the Office of Study Abroad has an application on their website that opens up typically every fall for the program that usually runs in June every year. So the fall before students want to go, there's a website with an application. They can go on there, see more information, apply to the program. We also offer a prerequisite course before the actual course in Uganda. So every spring semester, it's Preparations for Study Abroad in Uganda is the name of the course. And so that course is really designed to help students understand what study abroad, what to expect when they do a study abroad, what to expect in Uganda, the culture, the health considerations, visa considerations, travel, logistics, all of that kind of things, and what they can do to fund the study abroad experience, because it does come at a cost, and so we help make sure that our students are well prepared for that. So it's just as simple as going on the website and applying to the program or signing up for the prerequisite course.
Okay, so it's awesome that you brought up the prerequisite course, because my question was going to be like, how can they prepare for something like that, especially if they have never studied abroad before? For myself, I know I have been, so I want to know what all is involved in that. So if a student was to, say, start that particular prerequisite course, is it a possibility they can decide like, oh, this is not for me, or like, how does that work?
Yeah, it's a great question. So we get students that have never traveled internationally before, or some people maybe who have traveled internationally, but it was with a family vacation or something like that where the family took care of the logistics. And so that was really the impetus behind this prerequisite course, is to help answer student questions, prepare them for it. And so the course starts in January, in the spring semester. The application deadline for the study abroad program isn't actually later on. Typically it's toward the end of March, where students actually have to commit to going on the trip. And so we have a lot of students that usually join the preparations, and for a lot of different reasons, they might not go on the trip that year. It may be, that they decide, this is going to be something better for me to do, next year, closer to my time applying for veterinary school. Or some veterinary students may say, I don't want to go after first year, I want to go after second year. And so there are some reasons that students would take the course and say, maybe this isn't for me. And sometimes throughout that course, they say, maybe I'm a little nervous, I don't want to go to Uganda, and that's okay. I think they still find the course very valuable because it exposes them to the culture, it exposes them to what all goes into an international trip.
Okay, and so pretty much for this particular trip, because we've been doing this for a couple of years now, what are students expected to experience when they're over there in Uganda?
Sure, yeah. So this trip was started by Dr. Heitz over 15 years ago. So it's been going on for a really long time. We have a great collaboration with Makerere University and the vet school in Uganda. And so the trip itself, it's really an immersive experience, hands-on experience. So it's 4 weeks long. We spend time at the vet school there doing some kind of coursework and a little bit of lectures to prepare the students to make sure everyone's all on the same page. And then we go out into the field. We'll go to the zoo and spend a couple days at the zoo working with wildlife and zoo animals. We go to national parks, and so the animals are going to go out to national parks where you do a game drive and you get to see all the African wildlife that you think about out in the savannah with the giraffes and the lions and the hippos and all of that, and we'll dart those animals, and we work with the veterinarians at the Uganda Wildlife Authority. So we go out and we dart the animals, collect samples. Students are actively engaged doing all of that hands-on. And then we also get to go out and do things with a nonprofit organization, is something we really started here recently. It's actually started by a U.S. doctor and his wife, and they've got a hospital and a dental clinic and an orphanage and schools, and so with all of that, they need to feed all those people, so they have row crops and animals. And so our students on the trip get to go and do preventive care and routine care and husbandry stuff for those animals. It's a little bit different doing that in Uganda than it is doing that here in the U.S. So it's really a broad scope of activities. There's a One Health component, so we get to do stuff with national public health labs and get to learn about the different diseases that impact humans in Uganda that maybe we don't have that's here in the U.S. And so how do they learn more about the diseases and then what they're doing to help control those diseases.
Okay, and so looking at that, because a student may say, okay, why would I want to join this particular trip? What would you say would be a reason? And also, what would you say, like, who would it be actually for, I guess? How would you explain that?
Sure, yeah. So the program, we get a really diverse of backgrounds of students. So a lot of it is veterinary students and pre-veterinary students, with the topic being tropical veterinary medicine and working with animals. I was actually at the study abroad fair here recently, and one of the students was a fashion designer, and I said, look, we'd love to have you come on the trip and you can see all the fashions that they have in Uganda, but we're working hands-on with animals. And she's like, I don't like animals, I don't want to touch animals, and so maybe this trip isn't for you. But really, there's a lot of different backgrounds. So pre-veterinary medicine is one of them, but a lot of the other pre-health professions, so pre-med, pre-dental, students that are interested in that, and then obviously the veterinary students that do things there. So it's a great opportunity. A study abroad experience and traveling international, if you've never traveled international, is a great opportunity to grow professionally, but also personally.
Exactly.
You know, it's a little bit different, when you're used to life here in Starkville or wherever you live, and then going to another country, right, where other people speak different languages and the environment's different and all those other things. It can be a really rewarding experience for you to learn more about yourself and gain confidence in yourself, in addition to the technical and scientific information you gain on the trip.
Awesome. So, Dr. Reichle, what would be one thing that, well, I'm not going to limit you to one thing. What would be some more information that you would want to provide students about this particular opportunity?
Yeah, I think it's a wonderful opportunity for students to get to know, especially for the pre-veterinary students, to get to know the veterinary students. They can see what veterinary school is really like. They get to meet the veterinary faculty that are on the trip. So I think it's a really great opportunity. It's hands-on. And really, once you get in the country, we take care of everything. So you don't have to worry about paying for food or lodging or any of those other things. All of that is arranged and taken care of. It's a very safe trip. So, again, we've been doing this for many, many years. We have a great collaboration, and so it's just a wonderful opportunity to get out and see the world.
Definitely, and I'm glad you provided those last details about, not necessarily like the cost, but of course, what would they get when they get over there? They won't have to pay for anything. Everything is all within the particular cost, which I'm sure they'll be able to find maybe on the website or find out there going through the program. Well, not the program, but the prerequisite course. Would all that information be on the website? Like, where would that be found?
Yeah, everything's on the website as far as the cost. It varies a little bit every year. I do think it's important, again, we get out and see the country. So we're driving all over the country. We take care of all of the vehicle hires and the fuel and paying the entry fee to get in the parks and all of that stuff. So all of that is included. The price is on the website. And again, we talk about the different funding opportunities and scholarships that are available for the students to help offset the cost as well as part of that prerequisite course.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Reichle, so much for joining me and talking about this wonderful program. And I hope that some students will definitely join us, because we want them to join us for this particular opportunity. So that pretty much concludes this month's episode of Pegasus. As always, if you have any questions, concerns, comments about today's show, do not hesitate to contact me at brittany.henderson@msstate.edu. I look forward to hearing from you and seeing you next time here on Pegasus.